So, back in pre-season, just how's it going?
Really good. We're testing the players every day, physically, mentally and technically. A lot of information going into them. Don't expect everything to stick, but where we're fortunate, we've got, another 4.5 weeks, so a period of time now to make sure that the players understand the roles and responsibilities. But predominantly at this point in pre-season, it's making sure that the players are physically being able to deal with the load that they're going through. There's some sore bodies in there, but as a player, I remember it very vividly. It's part and parcel of the game.
Yeah, you said it was going to be tough when we spoke to you last time. Are they finding it tough? Is it a lot of running?
Yes, but it's imperative that there's also the football out. I remember at the start of my career, you didn't see football for the first 2 weeks. That's very different now. Yeah, they've had a lot of double days, no days off since Sunday. They won't be off until this coming Sunday. So, there's obviously a lot that we need to make sure we cram into what is in essence a small space of time. But the players have all got smiles on their faces. We're very fortunate. This is a fantastic place to come and work. Pitches are wonderful, facilities are great, the food is exceptional. The players have got smiles on their face. As I say, today was a slightly easier day for them. We ramp everything up again towards the weekend.
Yeah, how do you kind of break it down when you're coming back into pre-season? I know that I've had kind of summer plans to keep fit and everything, but how do you break it down in the 5 weeks now before the season starts?
There's a period of periodisation that the sports science staff and medical staff go through with the players here. They've done that, and it's a case of now us as coaches pushing those boundaries, like making sure that obviously the players, and we understand that there are certain remits that they have to hit within every day and certain distances within every week. But of course that can be variable, and it has to be variable because we need to get the players into the best physical shape that we can first and foremost. Because if I look at what will underpin, and I've spoken about this previously, what will underpin us is our work rate. We need to be as fit as we possibly can be. I'd love us to be the fittest team in the league. And if you couple that with the ability that we have in the building, that gives us a chance. So, yeah, there's lots of sore bodies, shall we say, but they're all enjoying it, and I think that's the most important thing, While we understand we are here as a group of staff and group of players to work exceptionally hard, I want the players to do it with a smile on their face. I want them to come and question the new things and the new ideas they're being given, because there's no point in us just talking at them all the time. We have to make sure that the information we're giving the players on a daily basis stays in, because it's going to formulate and underpin our season.
And this is all obviously new to the players. You've just come in pre-season starting, but it's also obviously new for you, meeting a new set of players. Are you now learning more about them, as you learn a lot from watching them, but from spending every day with them, have you learned a lot about those players?
Yeah, there are different personalities within the group. There's a very good core group of senior players who are at this precise moment in time driving the group, which is fantastic. We've had to supplement some numbers with younger players coming up from the academy, which has again been great. Their effort, determination has been fantastic. We're now starting to get to a point where we can go into some competitive elements in the training session. They're now at a point where they work extremely hard during the off-season, so we're now reaping the benefits of that. It's a process. At times it will become frustrating for them because the players want to go into competitive games straight away. We have to use the next 3 to 4 days at building upon the blocks that we've already put in place earlier in the week, and hope that we take the players to the edge without breaking them. There's no point in us going after them too much. I think if you spoke to the players, has pre-season been different for them? Yes, it has. But we've now got a period where we have to just keep pinning down our fundamentals moving into the first game of the season. If that gives us the opportunity to take from what we're working on to the training pitch into those games. So very excited.
And new assistant manager has come in. Just tell us a little bit about Marcus and how well do you know him, and how's your relationship going to work?
So first and foremost, I knew of Marcus but didn't know him. Spoke to some very influential people within the game who know me very well, and asked them, what do you think I need? A few names came up. Marcus fills the gaps and areas of my knowledge. Marcus is an exceptional coach, an exceptional human being first and foremost. I met him a couple of times. Then it was a case of obviously speaking with Mick and making sure that it was a viable option. I think as a football club we're very lucky to have him. He led the training session today alongside myself. The detail that he goes into will be immense for our players. It's going to take them time to understand how we work. Right? The relationships within the coaching room will become organic. You can't force that. But what I will say is that the conversations that I've had with the players have been really open and honest, because it's not all about me speaking at them. I have to understand them as people first, and I've always said it, the person is more important than the footballer. So let's try and build those relationships over time, because I'm going to ask them for everything they've got every single day they're in the building. That's a minimum requirement, and it will take a bit of time to change that, but we're well on the way to doing it.
I imagine he's someone as well that must know Mickey quite well from his time at Cheltenham. Will those relationships that they've already obviously got a relationship help with recruitment and just having that kind of open dialogue, like you say?
Yeah, most definitely. He has a relationship with Mick. While Mickey isn't up at the training ground every day, he's I think been up here 2 or 3 days this week already. It's imperative that we work as a group of staff. Said that, it's also vitally important that the staff and the players are seen as one, because with neither we can't be successful. So the players need us and we need the players to be successful. I want us to have a one club mentality. Marcus, as I say, has a very good knowledge of this level, having worked in League One last season. We are, in my opinion, fortunate to have him as part of our staff here. Really looking forward to working with him. Good sense of humour as well, which I think is important as we move forward.
And we've seen Carl Winchester sign obviously permanently and Morgan Feeney coming in. Just tell me a little bit about those two players and what you've seen in them that have made you want, to have them here.
Well, Carl's a really experienced footballer. He was on loan here last season. He was actually somebody that I mentioned during the interview to Mickey, and I asked what's going on with him. I felt that Carl, and I feel that Carl is a front foot footballer. He's a player that can pick up really good positions in between the lines. He can play passes to break defences down, but more than anything, his physicality really impresses me. He could play in a number of various positions, and he knows the staff, he knows the football club, and when I asked Mickey about him and Mickey spoke to him, he was really excited to come back. We want people that want to be here. That's the most important thing. Every time that a player pulls on a Shrewsbury shirt, they're representing the football club. He understands what that means to the fans. So I think it was a really simple decision on my behalf to ask the question, look, could we have him back here this season? Unfortunately, a deal was agreed. With regards to Morgan's a slightly different proposition, because he's a young player with a very good upbringing, if you like, very good grounding at Everton, so he can handle the football. But what I like about him is his aggressiveness, but more so than anything, when I met Morgan before he signed, it was his understanding of how hungry he is to learn. I don't think he's reached his peak, I don't think he's hit his pinnacle, and I hope that he can do that with us next season. I know the fans will see in both of those players people who will give everything for the shirt. That's what we need moving forwards. They both have undoubted quality. Morgan, you'll see, I saw him hit a pass today and was a little bit taken aback by it. I didn't know he had it in the locker. So now it's about giving these players confidence to go and play, whilst obviously trying to implement all of our ideas into the team.
Obviously last season Dan Udo and George Nurse both obviously suffered long-term injuries. Now they're back in training. Just how are they doing? I know you've only seen a little bit of them, but how are they doing now?
Really good. It's a case of trying to hold on to them, because they've obviously not played a lot of football, and having been through that myself, you want to go after it on day one. What we have to do is manage them, because I expect both of those players to be big players for us throughout the season. So really happy to have them back, both in fantastic physical condition, which tells me that they've really committed to their rehabilitation. Good people, really good around the squad. They joined in with us today. That was the first full session they were with us today, and I'm really hopeful that for both of those players they can get significant minutes in pre-season and be available as soon as possible in the season.
Aidan O'Brien, he didn't make a lot of appearances for the club last season, but he's back in training here. Do you see him being a big player for the club in the season?
I think I've spoken to Aidan, and that's up to him. So he's come back in good physical shape. His mindset is exceptionally positive. He's our player. He's a player that has experienced this level, scored a lot of goals. and I think he's an asset that we have to use. But again, and I've said this to Aidan, you know, whether he's in the team isn't up to me, it's up to him. With a lot of the players, that, you know, this is where they do the work on the training pitch, this is where they put the hard yards in. And look, Aidan seems to have the bit between his teeth. Do I expect him to do well this season? Yeah, but that's because that's the expectation he's set on himself. I've had quite a few conversations with him. What's happened has happened. It's football. He's now in the last year of his contract, right? He's now got to perform, and I believe he will do.
And are you any closer to any new recruits coming in?
Yeah, but as with a lot of these conversations, they seem to be protracted. One thing I do know is that Mickey is working extremely hard behind the scenes. You know, the conversations that I have with him are not minutes, they're hours about what we need and how we can move those deals forward. But what I do know is that if we don't sign anybody in the next 4 to 5 days, I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned because the players that we're trying to sign are players that have other clubs that are after them because they're good players. So therefore it's our job to make sure that we recruit players that want to be part of what we're trying to build this season. You know, we want to be a progressive football team in this league whilst understanding where we are in the pecking order, if you like, because there's some massive clubs in the league this year. But no, I'm excited about the recruitment, not panicking. Mickey's had many a year doing this. And yeah, we will most definitely get some good players in the building.
How much goes on behind the scenes in recruitment? How much do we don't see of hours of phone calls and stuff? How much goes into just bringing a player in?
It's difficult to quantify a lot because obviously Mickey is extremely hard working, and where I think, of course, we could sign players tomorrow, but are they the right players for us? Will they fit in with the ethos? Are they going to fit into the squad because of their character, because of their personality? These are all things that you have to take into consideration. It's not just what you see on the football pitch. And what we don't want to do is we don't want to break up the group in terms of they've got to be the right person, first and foremost. Look, there are lots of conversations that are ongoing. I've just got off of a Zoom call with a player, so you know, we're hopeful that we can add players sooner rather than later, but also aware that we might have to wait if we want the really good players that we're after.